Hey, good morning everybody. This is Cindy at Blue Star Antiques, and I'm here to do a tutorial this morning about getting that barnwood finish on a tabletop. You probably have seen the pictures on either my Facebook page or on the Paint It Beautiful page of a table that I did a while back with a really great technique with the stain. And so I thought I would show you how to do that this morning. So I promised to be on about 10. I've got 10:01. And so I'm going to get started and show you how to achieve that look. What I'm going to be using is the stain and finishing oil that Fusion carries. And I prefer to mix two colors, the white and the driftwood. The driftwood's a little dark for me, so I prefer to do a mix. And I wash out my Fusion paint jars and reuse them for custom mixes. And so this one, I've already mixed up about half and half of the driftwood and white stain and finishing oil. So that's what's in the jar. And it's an oil-based stain, so I'm going to use gloves. And I'm going to be using the applicator pad. And that's the best, excuse me, the best way to apply. As you know, the Fusion paint is 0 VOC, so it has no odor. There's no problem painting in the house. The stain and finishing oil does have a slight odor, but it's not overpowering like your traditional stain. So I have stained in the house before and it's not bad, and I'm going to do it again today. So I've got this little drop leaf table that I found at an antique store. And I've cleaned and prepped it, and I've given the top one coat of ash. Now the big dining room table that I did, I gave it 2 coats of ash because I knew it was going to get lots of wear, and so I just knew that I needed 2 coats. But this is a side occasional table. I don't think it's going to get as much wear and tear, and the ash is just my base coat color, and knowing that I'm going to put stain over the top of it, I only did 1 coat, and I painted it a few days ago. So it's had time to, it's definitely dry to the touch, and it started that curing process. And with only 1 coat, hopefully we're good and down the road with that. So in the jar is a mix of half stain and finishing oil in driftwood and half white, about. I just poured it in, I didn't measure. And so I've mixed that up, so that's what's in here. And I'm just going to wipe it on with my applicator pad, and I'm not wiping it off. And it will take 24 to 48 hours to dry to the touch. So you got to have a place where you can kind of leave it, because it'll be sticky for a couple of days. But that's pretty much it. So I'm going to show you. All I do is I take my applicator pad over my jar, and if you're using straight stain, if you're just using 1 color of stain, you can use the can of stain. But I just invert like that and get some stain on the pad. And when I'm doing a table, I start in the middle and work outwards, so I have less chance of leaning over wet paint trying to get to the middle. And then I'm going to just wipe straight across. And you can see it just creates striations when I wipe across. And it's got such a cool look to it. And part of the striations come from the pressure of my 2 fingers on the back. So it kind of provides uneven application. But look how quickly this is going on. It doesn't take long at all. And I just wipe straight across. So some of that ash shows through. Isn't that pretty? I just love it. So there you go. I don't clean my pads. I will throw it into a Ziploc bag and I throw it in the freezer and I reuse them. So, and I use tongue depressors for my stir sticks. I throw those in the bag too so that I don't have to hunt down a tongue depressor every time. I just throw my stir stick and my pad in a Ziploc bag and I label it and I throw it in the freezer. And that's how I reuse the pads. And so then I take them out about 10 minutes before I need to use them so that they'll thaw, but I've had great luck with those. So that's it. I've just wiped, I just used that applicator pad and wiped the stain straight over the paint, and now I'm going to leave it. Well, actually, I'm going to hit the edge. I'm going to go around and hit the edge, and I'm also going to drop these leaves. Trying to decide if I should leave that exposed piece ash or if I should wipe the stain in there. What do you guys think? Leave it or wipe down there? I'm not real sure. But that's the top of the table. And I just love the variety and the variations, and it just gives it this really cool look. I have cleaned and scuff sanded the legs. They were pretty glossy. And I will probably paint them either lamp white or sterling. So it kind of coordinates with the top. But that's kind of it. So see, how long did that take? What time is it? 9 minutes. 9 minutes to do the whole top of that table. So it's quick, it's easy. I just spotted and because it stays wet, if you catch something you need to even out, you can. Now this tabletop had some water damage, and when I was prepping, you know, I cleaned it really well. And you know how water damage will ruin the finish? So the finish was kind of chipping off, so I sanded the top some to just get off any of the loose chips of the finish. But there was still, you could still see the texture of some finish gone and some there. I mean, it was not a nice finish. I didn't worry about it because I knew that this technique is visually going to cover those imperfections. So, anyway, that's where we are. Thanks for coming in today and watching. And I'm dying to see what you do with this technique and how you apply it in other things, because honestly, I've only done the grays, you know, the gray on the ash, because I love that look. But I'm thinking, what would you do? Maybe cappuccino over Algonquin? That could be a cool technique. Or the ebony, what would you do ebony over? Maybe ebony over ash would give you a really dark look. I don't know, I just think the possibilities are endless. So I'm curious to see what you do with it yourself. And thanks for popping in, and I will talk to you later. Bye.